Welcome. This is our third video in a series of videos dealing with the review for our midterm exam. I'm going to share my visualizer and we'll begin with our look starting at problem number 15. Okay, 15th. Invoice dated April 15th. Terms of a 5,500 balance that includes a freight charge, $300. Remember, no discounts on freight. Terms are 410, 330, net at 60. All right, the invoice is paid on April 29th. So from 15 to 29 is in fact 14 days. So we miss out on the 4% discount, wherein we would have had to have paid within 10 days, but we do pay within 30. So we will qualify for that 3% discount. So first of all, let's take off that freight charge. So take your 5,500 and subtract 300. So the amount that's available relative to discount is the $5,200. All right. So again, you've seen this previously. If it's 3% off, we're paying 97%. That complement idea again. So we will pay 97% of the $5,200, and that turns out to be $5,044. Don't forget, we got to add back in that freight charge. So we'll take our 5044, we'll add 300, and the amount that we would send would be $5,344. That's our final answer for problem 15. As we move to 16, we move into unit 4, talking about markups and markdowns. So in all of these problems, we'll make use of a base equation that says selling price is equal to cost plus markup. We'll have to pay close attention to whether the markup is based on its selling price or whether it's based on cost. So on problem 16, we find a 45% markup on selling price. So we're going to take a look at what we've got. We know the selling price is $1,000, so that goes in for S. We're searching for cost. We'll let that just be C. The markup in this problem is 45% of the selling price, which we happen to know is $1,000. So it's 45% of that. That actually amounts to $450. A little algebra crunch, and we're going to solve for C. So subtract 450, and we find the cost on problem 16 at $550. 17, Macy's buys the end table, cost at $800, wants to sell it and make a 55% markup on selling price. So again, we'll go S equals C plus M. Cost we know to be $800. We're searching for selling price. We want the markup to be 55% of selling price, which we don't know. We're representing that unknown as S. So we're going to represent our markup as 0.55 S. So take a look at what you've got. You've got variable terms on both sides. So let's just condense them to the left side. So we'll subtract 0.55 S. That's how we got 0.45 S is equal to 800. It's an algebra crunch, so let's divide both sides by 0.45. And we will find the selling price on problem 17 to be $1,777.78 on a roundup, probably from about 0.7 rep of 10. So we're done with problem 17. We've calculated selling price. 18, same set, selling prices, cost plus markup. Pay careful attention. It looks like we want a markup, again, based on selling price. All right, and we know that the cost for the gallon is $35 per gallon. We're playing per gallon in this problem. And we're going to say that in that context, the 600 that you see really isn't that pertinent to our solution. We are looking for a markup based on selling price of 79%. This problem is very similar to the one we just looked at above. Selling price would be 35 plus 0.79 S, representing markup, 79% of selling price. As before, move your S terms to the one side. So let's subtract 0.79 S. We'll get to 0.21 S is 35. Divide both sides by 0.21, and we find our selling price per gallon on 18 to be $166.67. Problem 18 done and in the books. Moving on to 19. All right, sales to contractors, 42% markup on cost. In this case, we're going to represent markup as 0.42C, and we're being asked to find the cost. What we do know is the selling price, $9,500 for a cabinet. This time, we've got all our variable terms on the right side. Remember, there's a 1 in front of that C. So when we add 1 and 0.42, we're going to get 1.42C. And we're going to solve for C by dividing both sides by 1.42. The cost we were searching for, $6,690.14 would be the cost to our contractor on problem 19. So as you work through these problems, pay close attention. Are we basing markup on sales price, or are we basing markup on cost? We're going to move to 20 and continue our solutions from Unit 4. Problem 20. All right, they're producing mobile or model toy cars. Each car sells for $29.99. The variable cost per car, in effect, what it costs to make each car, $14.25. So the profit per car, if we subtract the $29.99 and the $14.25, we realize they make a profit on each car of $15.74. For them to break even, they have to offset that fixed cost, which is that large number, $314,800. So we're going to take that $314,800 and we'll divide by the profit per car, which is the $15.74. And we'll find that we'll break even if we sell 20,000 of those toy cars. All right, so find the profit per toy car and divide your fixed cost by that individual profit, and that should tell you how many you have to sell to break even. Should we sell one more car, we make a profit. We sell one less car than $20,000, we are not broken even, and we would be operating at loss. Problem 21. All right, we're going to sell some chocolate chip cookies. They cost $1.10 each to bake. All right, they want a 35% markup based on selling price. They're going to produce 45 cookies, but they estimate that 15% will spoil. They'll go stale, or they'll get crumbly or whatever, and they won't be able to be sold. So we'll start with S equals C plus M. Cost per cookie at $1.10. We're looking for a markup of 35% of selling price. We've seen this previously, so we'll represent the markup as 0.35S. Have to condense those S terms to one side, so we're going to subtract the 0.35S. That's how you see 0.65S equals the 140. So we're going to find our selling price for each cookie by dividing that 110 by 0.65. Again, we're going to round this off to dollars and cents. So we're going to look at $1.69 per cookie. We're going to make 45. So our total selling price for those cookies would be that 169 times 70 or 45, which is going to amount to $76.15 as our selling price for all 45 cookies. However, we're not going to sell all 45 cookies. We're going to lose 15%. So I took a look at 45 times 0.15, and that's 6.75 cookies that we wouldn't get to sell. Well, it's tough to deal with 0.75 of a cookie, so let's make that 7 cookies. Well, we were originally targeting 45. All right, so if we take off the 7 that we can't sell because of spoilage or crumblies or whatever, that leaves us 38 cookies to sell. Now remember, we need to make $76.15 as our sale for those cookies. So let's take that total, $76.15. We'll divide by the 38 cookies that we have left to sell after we've lost 7 to spoilage. We'll find that each cookie should be sold for $2, and again, the round off one of the cents with the 3 there in the third decimal spot doesn't crank it up. So $2 per cookie will get us what we were hoping for as our selling price, yielding us a markup of 35% of selling price. Sell each of those 38 cookies for $2. We're going to hit the brakes as we end Unit 4. We'll come back with video 4 in this sequence and start our work on Unit 5 for linear programming.